This is us, 3 friends who decided to take a 5-week trip across South Korea and Japan. I'm here with Emily, our mother duckling, the one who keeps us fed, hydrated, and emotionally supported at all times. Harrison is our resident joker and chief navigator, cracking jokes while somehow getting us to the right place every time. And me, I'm Shifona, your narrator with a camera, a little dramatic, but fully here for the good vibes and the good food. Day 1 was predominantly just a travel day, but honestly, walking through the airport felt like slipping into another version of life. The smell of coffee, the luggage, the hum of announcements and rush of people all going somewhere, it's like the whole place was buzzing with stories. We got on the plane, tucked ourselves into our tiny seats, and mentally prepared for the next 12 plus hours of this journey. None of us really knew what to expect, but I wanted this trip to be unforgettable. I was grateful to be doing something that I had always dreamt of doing, and this high up in the air, life felt lighter. And as I watched the city below get smaller and smaller, it seemed like my worries did too. The flight itself had its usual little joys, and by that I mean the food. Our first meal was rice and pork, a bread roll with butter, some fresh fruit, ham, tomatoes, and water, because the lady sadly didn't hear me say wine, or thought I was Jesus. Totally fine. It didn't matter because the food was honestly surprisingly delicious. Overall, 10 out of 10 would have again. We slept a bit after this, and when I woke up, I caught the sunrise somewhere over Central Asia. It was beautiful. It's not every day you get to see the sunrise from up in the sky. We then had our second meal, which was also really good. There was rice and chicken, which Emily leaned over and whispered, "Juicy and tender." And this quickly became our catchphrase for the next 5 weeks. There was some sort of salad, which I wasn't a fan of, but the cheesecake made up for it. More bread and butter, and this tea that I wish they gave extra refills for because it was so nice. And just like that, we made it through 12 hours in the sky and touched down in Incheon. The walk through the airport felt so long, I was so exhausted and couldn't wait to get to our Airbnb. It did take us a while to figure out how the taxis worked and where to go, but we eventually managed to find our way. Our friend Elle was waiting for us at the Airbnb. She would be joining us for a bit in Seoul. You'll meet her later. I was so tired at this point that I didn't film much of the place itself, but it was a cozy little place and the owner of the Airbnb welcomed us with food, which was a lovely surprise. After a quick catch-up, we immediately went on our first mission to the convenience store. I loved the fact that you could make your own food and sit down and eat there itself. Why is this not a thing in the UK? The day ended just like that, and we slept knowing that the next 5 weeks was going to be great. Plenty more juicy and tender moments. And this is just the beginning. Day 2 started with bagels, which feels like the right way to start any day in any civilization. We found this little bagel cafe in Hongdae, which is where we planted ourselves for the morning. There were so many options, we shared a few between us. I love the cafe culture that South Korea has. Bagels were followed by bullets, a natural progression of the morning in Seoul. And you know what? I think I did pretty well. Okay, I did have a laser guide, so maybe it wasn't all skill. But listen, if it looks cool, it counts. We got to decorate our cards and put them on display with the others. I have to say, there were a lot of artistic talent on those walls. I had fun looking through them. We then explored the streets of Hongdae, the iconic Red Road and Hongdae Shopping Street. Unfortunately, Emily couldn't join us today because of some serious back pain. We missed her lots. I would describe Hongdae as chic and trendy, with a lively mix of art, fashion, music, and street performances. It grew around Hongik University, which is renowned for its arts and design programs. It's a real creative hub, and you can really feel that influence in the artistic vibe that fills the whole area. And speaking of art, our next stop was getting caricatures. There were a lot of these stores dotted all around Seoul, along with photo booths, and I think it is the perfect way to capture some cute memories with your friends. After wandering around Hongdae for a bit, we ended up at this little store where you could customize your own phone cases. You basically pick a plain case and then go wild with decorations. Charms, stickers, beads, tiny ducks, whatever you want. Look at that concentration. Of course, silly me didn't actually film the final result. I apologise for depriving you of the artistic masterpieces. Just trust me, they were cute. By this point we were absolutely starving, so we headed to a duck galbi spot for lunch. It was my first time trying it, and yeah, I fell in love instantly.
It's gonna be like 10 seconds.
Chicken, ramen, tteokbokki or rice cakes, cheese, all sizzling together in that rich, spicy, sweet gochujang sauce. We devoured that. Then came archery, because apparently today we were on a warrior arc. It was another first for me. Harrison and I got a tutorial and then had a little competition between us. And yes, he was so much better than me, as you can tell by my side eye. But despite my terrible posture and non-existent aiming, I had so much fun and would definitely recommend this to anyone. Many steps later, our next stop was Myeongdong. And oh my god, it was a full-on sensory explosion in the best possible way. Lights everywhere, music bouncing off every corner, shops upon shops upon shops, the smell of street food, the crowd. It was chaotic, loud, colourful, and so youthful, and I loved it. Myeongdong is one of Seoul's busiest shopping districts. It's a hotspot for both locals and tourists, offering everything from high-end fashion and K-beauty to unique street food stalls and cute cafes. Whether you're in the mood for shopping, eating, or just experiencing the lively urban culture, it has something for everyone. We were actually there for the Nanta show, which is this high-energy, non-verbal comedic musical show set in a chaotic kitchen. Think chefs drumming on pots, vegetables flying, people dancing with knives. It was hilarious and impressive. And obviously, we had to finish off with another K-barbecue. The streets were a lot busier later on in the evening. It was packed. One thing I love about Seoul was the fact that it has this lively night scene, and as someone who is a major night owl, it felt perfect for my circadian rhythm. I tried fish cake for the first time. Today was a day of many firsts, and it weirdly tasted exactly how I imagined it to be. Isn't it amazing that our brains can do that? It had this firm, spongy texture with a subtle, salty, fishy flavour and a bit of spice because I asked for that. Elle had a hot dog, a crispy sugar syrup-filled pancake. We walked around for a bit and then went home. Day 3 was different. I stayed at home to write an essay, and Harrison took Emily to a hospital. But Harrison and I did manage to get to Gangnam for the evening, where we met up with Elle for a K-barbecue dinner. It was this Michelin Guide restaurant and Harrison's favourite Korean barbecue of the whole trip. He said, "I love the salt." His words, not mine.
Salty.
After dinner, we agreed Emily deserved ice cream therapy, so we stopped by Baskin Robbins. We wanted to try several flavours, so naturally we got 8, and then took the taxi home so it wouldn't melt. Priorities. Back at the Airbnb, the 4 of us sprawled around the table, spoons in hand, ready to taste and rate every flavour. I personally loved the matcha and red bean one. That was my champion. It was such a simple moment on such a simple day. Nothing spectacular, nothing carefully planned. Yet this moment filled my heart. It reminded me that it's not always about the landmarks and bucket list moments. Sometimes joy is just friends laughing over ice cream.
10 out of 10.
Really?